Are you ready for something people don't want to talk about out loud? Because there's a growing fear spreading across Europe. A fear that Germany, the country that once sent the world into chaos twice, might be preparing for a comeback. Not culturally, not economically, militarily. Some even whisper a phrase nobody thought would ever return. The rise of a Fourth Reich. Sounds extreme, right? Maybe even crazy. But what if the signs people keep pointing to aren't just paranoia? Let's dig into this story and see why this question is making people nervous. Germany wasn't supposed to be dangerous again. After World War II, the world worked hard to make sure of that. The military was kept small. The government was watched closely. The country rebuilt itself on peace, democracy, stability. For decades, Germany was the safe power of Europe. Strong, but controlled. Rich, but careful. A nation with a dark past that promised never to repeat it. So why are people suddenly worried now? Everything changed the moment Russia invaded Ukraine. Overnight, Germany announced something shocking: a massive €100 billion fund to rebuild its army. This wasn't a small upgrade. This was the biggest shift in Germany's military policy since 1945. For the first time in almost a century, Germany said it needed to be one of the strongest armed forces in Europe again. And that's when people started asking, why now? What is Germany trying to become? Is this just defense? Or something bigger? Here's where the tension starts. Germany wants to be seen as a responsible world leader. But every time they talk about strengthening their military, old ghosts wake up. Neighbors remember tanks rolling across their borders. Older generations remember sirens and bombings. Politicians remember how fast things spiraled last time Germany felt threatened. So is this fear fair? Or is it panic with no real proof? To answer that, we have to look at Germany today. Modern Germany is nothing like Nazi Germany. The government is democratic. The military is under strict control. The public is peaceful. Schools teach openly about the horrors of the past. Yet, even with all of this, something else is rising inside the country, something that adds fuel to the fear. Far-right nationalism. Parties with extreme ideas have been gaining influence. Marches, flags, chants that look a little too familiar. Young men showing interest in Germany's lost pride. Even the German intelligence agency has warned about rising extremism within the military ranks. That alone makes people uncomfortable. Put strong military growth and rising nationalism side by side. And suddenly the question doesn't feel so silly anymore. Germany says it wants to defend Europe. And that's true. But every great power starts with a reason that sounds safe. Germany says it wants to protect itself from Russia. Makes sense. It says Europe needs a stronger army. Also true. It says it wants to support NATO more seriously. All good. But what happens when you combine national fear, new weapons, political pressure, and a public starting to question whether Germany should stop holding back? This is where history whispers warnings. The First Reich, the old Holy Roman Empire, ruled Central Europe for 1,000 years. The Second Reich, under Kaiser Wilhelm, built a military machine that terrified Europe. The Third Reich, Hitler's Nazi regime, destroyed the world. 3 times, Germany rose to power because of political unrest, economic pressure, and feelings of national insecurity. And right now, Germany is facing political unrest. Check. Economic pressure. Check. National insecurity because of Russia. Check. That pattern is what scares people. But let's not jump ahead. Let's take a closer look at the military changes happening in Germany right now. Because they are not small updates. Germany is buying new F-35 jets, building state-of-the-art tanks, expanding its troop numbers, rebuilding its navy, and investing heavily in cyber warfare technology. Their military spending is set to pass 2% of GDP, something they avoided for decades. Every time a new announcement is made, headlines explode with worry. Think about it. A country once stripped of its power now rebuilding itself into a major military force. It feels like watching a sleeping giant stretch its arms for the first time in years. But the real shock came when German leaders openly said the country had to be war-ready again. Those words didn't sit well with Europe, especially not with countries that still carry the scars of the past. And here's another twist. Germany isn't just rebuilding its army. It's starting to talk like a leader again. A power with responsibilities. A country that wants to shape Europe, not just support it. A country that is tired of being careful. When a nation with Germany's history starts talking about strength, people listen closely. Some analysts say Germany is stepping into a role it should have taken years ago. A strong European defender in a dangerous world. Others say Germany is preparing for a future nobody wants to imagine. A Europe where Germany leads not just with money, but with force. And then there are the conspiracy theories. Videos online claiming Germany has secret plans, that it wants revenge, that leaders are hiding a new agenda. Most of this is nonsense. But here's the uncomfortable part. Conspiracy theories only grow when people notice real changes happening. If nothing was happening, nobody would talk about a Fourth Reich. But something is happening. And that's why people are paying attention. Let's talk about the far right again, because this is where politics and military tension collide. Some regions in Germany are seeing rising support for nationalist parties who say Germany has been ashamed for too long. They argue Germany should be proud, powerful, confident. They push ideas about closing borders, rebuilding identity, standing alone. These ideas attract people who feel scared about the economy, immigration, or foreign threats. Mix this with a stronger army, and you get a combination that reminds Europe of the 1930s. Not identical, but close enough to raise eyebrows. And here's the twist people often ignore. Germany doesn't want a Fourth Reich. The German government fears it more than anyone. Their entire political system was designed to stop such a thing from ever happening. But governments change. Leaders shift. Public moods swing. If a different kind of leader took over during a crisis, Germany's new military strength could be used very differently. That's the scenario people fear, not what Germany is doing today, but what a future Germany could do with the power it's rebuilding. Think about how fast things changed in the past. The Weimar Republic was democratic, until it wasn't. It took only a few years for Hitler to turn a struggling nation into a war machine. Germany is not the same today, but the speed of political change is something history has taught us never to ignore. Now let's zoom out. Europe is unstable. Russia is aggressive. NATO is stressed. The US is dealing with global problems. Power balances are shifting everywhere. In times like these, strong nations become even stronger. And Germany is perfectly positioned. Richest country in Europe, advanced technology, massive industry, strategic location. If Germany wanted to become a dominant military power again, this is exactly the moment they would do it. Does that mean a Fourth Reich is coming? No, but does it explain why people are asking the question? Absolutely. And here's the micro-tension you can't ignore. Germany's defense minister recently said Germany must be ready for a major war within 5 years. That line sent shockwaves across Europe. It felt like a warning, or a plan. At the same time, German factories are increasing weapons production at levels not seen since the Cold War. Germany is becoming a top weapons supplier. Their new tanks, new drones, new export deals, all of it paints a picture of a country stepping back into the center of world power. There's also something else. Germany is frustrated. For years, European countries relied too much on America for protection. Germany wants Europe to defend itself. And there's a growing idea that Germany should lead that effort. A European army, with Germany at the front. Sounds peaceful, until someone abuses that power. So let's be clear. Germany is not secretly building a new Reich. But fear grows in the space between past and present. And Germany's past is heavy enough to make any military change feel dangerous. If there's one truth here, it's this. Germany is returning to the world stage as a military power. That part is real. The only question left is what happens next. Will Germany become Europe's protector? Or will history's ghosts follow it into the future? Nobody knows for sure. And that uncertainty is what keeps people watching. In the end, the idea of a Fourth Reich isn't about tanks or soldiers or jets. It's about fear. It's about memory. It's about the world trying to understand whether Germany's new strength is a promise or a warning. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. Germany will no longer stand quietly in the background. The world is changing fast, and Germany is changing with it. And people everywhere are wondering whether that change is good or something we've seen before. Like and subscribe to our channel, and if you want more stories that challenge the way you see history and the world today, watch the next video.